Hot button.
Drawing thing, like the 1 pixel at a time drawing thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Yeah.
right. I do remember
That's a good
that.
opportunity for some loss.
What did they end up drawing instead?
A billion things. You ever seen that?
No, I don't think I have.
Look that
actually.
shit up, dude.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, look it up. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do
No.
you? You don't.
I do.
Yeah.
oh,
So
actually,
Reddit
no.
started this thing.
So
We'll
it's
cut
like
out that
Twitch
weird
play-
silence and then this. No, they did this subreddit where it's like, here's a giant whatever by whatever. I think it was like couple thousand by couple thousand blank white sheet. And you can add 1 pixel like every, what is it, hour or 1 pixel at a time or something.
Oh, jeez.
So like, I'm pretty sure it was like a time limit on it. But then they're like, draw what you want. We'll
Yeah.
end it in like a day or two or whatever.
And the Mona Lisa came
So
out.
it was just people drawing all different sorts of stuff, like millions of people, and like different subreddits were started. Like, hey, we're the people trying to add this to the drawing. So like, if you want to get involved with this, add this many pixels in this location to this time of
That's
day.
pretty cool.
Because then people are like battling, like something will
Yeah.
show up and then people try to like overcome it. And like there's all these weird subreddits. Like there was one where it was just this black that was just trying to overtake the entire thing, and like it took all the subreddits
That's
like
pretty
fighting
good.
it back. It's a very cool like weird cultural like
That's some wholesome
phenomenon
internet right
to
there.
look
Yeah,
at.
here's it was called reddit.com/r/place.
Yeah, place. Yeah,
And this is the
that's the
picture.
final drawing. You
Holy
gotta watch the
shit.
time.
Yeah.
You gotta watch the time lapse of it happening
Oh, that's got to be real
because
good
it's
to see.
it's
yeah.
it's incredible.
I want that framed.
With that said, we should do a Twitch Plays Pokemon episode. I'm very aware.
No, I was.
I
Well, that was just made me. That's what made me think of that.
yeah, I
just
watched
now.
that shit happen live.
Me too. Yeah.
And it was an
I tried
incredible thing to be a
participate
part
in it.
of. Yeah.
What's weird is like I remember going to bed and it would just be him walking into a wall for 10 minutes, and
Yeah.
I was just like, how? And then I would wake up the next morning and like
And
3
then
more
there's
gyms were
yeah,
beat.
exactly.
I was like, wait,
that
what?
happened to me too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I was
remember
like,
like
what
like it was
happened?
like 2 a.m. and I'm like, I don't want to go to bed.
Yeah. And then didn't they play through Dark Souls as well?
Yeah. You ever watch Fish play Street Fighter? Because that was fun.
Oh yeah,
A fish place.
There was two fish
I
in
love
bowls, and they segmented
Conway
the bowls
invented
out
that.
into the 8 directions and then the 6 buttons.
So wherever they swam,
And whenever they swam, it would just spam that button. So then they just tried to beat Street Fighter's arcade mode with
I
fish.
thought it was 2 fish versus each other.
No.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen a show on Adult Swim called Fish Center?
Yes.
Okay,
No.
it's literally like a static. Well, not a static, but it's just a camera on an aquarium with fish, and then it's just narrators making up games like they're like circling them, and it's like it's like a parody of a sports talk. Like
Oh yeah, okay, that's pretty good.
yeah. And then and I remember what is it? Conray was really into this. He would just send them to me, and they were like hysterical because eventually there was an entire narrative based around the 2 people that hosted where they would like get drunk and the one guy was like breaking up with his wife, and like it would just show the image of these fish or something.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
That makes me think of You Suck at Photoshop. Do you ever watch that?
Oh, I have seen. Yeah,
Have you ever
suck
watched
up for-
that?
Yeah,
No.
it gets all like
It was like
yeah.
it was like a fake parody Photoshop tutorial, and every
goes
episode would
places.
actually give you a tutorial on how to use Photoshop, like masking and blending and all this stuff. But then every episode had a narrative to it. So it was like, I just got married, so I'm going to Photoshop my new wife into this picture of me. And then the next episode, he'd be like, she cheated on me, so I'm going to Photoshop the guy's face over mine. And then I'm going to Photoshop this picture of my house without my car out front of it because I got kicked out. And it's like,
Jesus,
That's so good.
a lot of smart people out there.
There is. Not us.
Not speaking of them.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm Randall Beatrice, here as always with Austin Blakesley
yeah.
and Chris Antuano.
I just bumped my mic. Have fun with that, Jason.
Today on Hot Button, we're going to talk about another fight. The contestants, Nintendo, and YouTubers. That's right, we're going to run you guys
A
through...
fight on YouTube.
Whoa.
It's just a prank, bro.
Oh my God. We're going to run through the several years when the original Japanese gaming godfather tried to crack down on those pesky online entertainers for making any sort of a living off their hard-earned work in the most absolute disconnected from reality way possible. Didn't matter how different the actual medium for engaging in the material was, it was their money and they wanted it now. Or so they assumed anyway.
That's a commercial.
It is.
It's our intellectual property, and we want it now.
Austin, take us through that long Cold War between the industry's most beloved video game company and probably the biggest modern network of content creaters out there these days.
Oh,
the Let's Players.
You wrote this one?
Yeah.
Earlier you said an idiot wrote it. I thought you were talking about Randall.
No, I was talking about myself. All right.
Yeah, what happened? What made Nintendo's approach to this so radical compared to, say, a Sony or a Microsoft?
So we'll get to that, but not much actually.
Okay.
They just did it publicly. That's the difference. But so
They didn't know how to hide it.
yeah, they're bad at that.
Yeah.
So Let's Play videos, we could do a whole episode on those.
Yeah.
From what I understand, they go back about as far as the internet has had the ability to host and stream video.
All right. I know where they came
People have been
from.
doing this for years. Yeah, they came from Something Awful, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Serious throwback to that site. Not to, cut you off already, but like I know not many people really give enough credit to that site for finding or even popularizing the idea, but that was honestly where the concept was like really born out of, like pre all this shit.
People have been posting videos of them playing video games for years,
Oh,
but like the
totally, yeah.
narration part of
Yeah.
it.
I
But,
actually looked it up right before this, and according to the there's like a Wikipedia for Let's Plays. I just looked it up, and yeah, according to Wikipedia, Something Awful forum user Michael Sawyer, under his username alias Slow Beef, is said to have invented the format. He apparently played through a game named The Immortal. I don't know that game, though. He apparently also said that he got the idea from another forum user called Val4, who did a long play of "I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream."
Yes.
Okay, and
So
that was like the big one.
That was my research shows that the first Let's Play that people can find was a
that one?
playthrough of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I know other goons on there say the term "Let's Play" was coined from like a screenshot of someone going through the Oregon Trail back in like 2005.
Yeah.
I think that thread is likely long gone now, but it's crazy.
Where'd it go?
Everyone on the internet should know of that site and its importance, and plus it's hilarious. But
Yeah.
But sorry, go on. I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean they didn't gain mainstream popularity until the early 2010 era.
When was Twitch?
That's a good question.
I think
So Twitch.tv was founded in
2010, 2011?
2011.
Okay, that was close.
June 6, 2011. And by February 2014 was the fourth largest source of internet traffic in the United States.
Jeez. Enough for Amazon to want to buy them.
It was also founded with
What do you think the other
Justin
three were?
TV. Probably Google,
Pornhub,
YouTube.
Amazon, YouTube, Netflix. Were they big enough then?
Pornhub,
No.
RedTube,
Also, Amazon purchased
Xvideo.
Twitch in 2014.
That was 2014. Wasn't it for like $1 billion or something? absurd?
970 million.
That was close. 30 million, sure, huh? I couldn't.
Cool, 970 mil.
A little less than half of what Minecraft was worth.
Oh, right. Yeah. How much was Star Wars worth?
A lot more.
Less. Worth
Wasn't
less.
it 4 billion? I think
was up there.
LucasArts was 4 billion.
Jeez.
We're getting off topic.
All right.
Anyway, but I think Let's Plays is more of a YouTube thing, although streaming will come up.
Right, yeah.
People
It's more for like when it's archived and then.
People do live playthroughs of stuff on Twitch, but to me, Let's Plays is like the PewDiePie thing where he plays it for like 4 hours and then edits it down to like a 15-minute video. And
Yeah.
Gotta do those quick
it's
cuts.
the highlights. Those of you listening, I did air quotes because
Those are really big air quote. You reached all the way out there.
yeah, I bumped my mic. Sorry, Jason.
We've had like 4 apologies to him so far in this episode.
But yeah, here's the thing about Let's Plays. Let's Plays are technically against YouTube's terms of service
Yeah.
because you're not allowed to show copyrighted intellectual
Right.
property, and video games are copyrighted intellectual property.
Which is weird because it's like YouTube doesn't allow you to do like a commentary of a film.
Right.
Yeah,
They
like
do.
Wait, they
but
do?
they do and they don't, because
Okay.
if you want to get into like a YouTube episode, the
fair
big
use.
debate on YouTube is what is fair use.
What is fair use? Yeah.
And so a lot of people say, well, a Let's Play
They're
is
pretty aggressive.
a
with
Let's
that.
Play is fair use.
They're creating
but,
their
like,
own content out of it.
You can't
a
own
playthrough.
information, dude.
Yeah. You definitely can.
We found that out in previous episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it is
You can't own anything, dude.
But it makes them way too much money. Imagine if they cracked down and they were like, "Hey, all Let's Players are off YouTube." Wait, that'd be like Twitter getting rid of all the Republicans.
So for the most part, video game companies let Let's Play slide because it's like it is stealing your intellectual property technically, but also it's free advertising.
Free advertising.
They've used that in advertising. Now when we'll watch E3
Yeah.
and they'll show Let's Players.
I mean, PewDiePie's statement on this whole thing we're about to get to kind of sums that up, but
yeah.
it's basically like people don't come to my channel because they're interested in the game I'm playing. Most of them are already subscribed to me, and I'm playing this game to like.
Yeah, but without those games, nobody would watch him either.
No,
well,
but
now they would.
The
maybe,
point
but
is, he's like,
whatever.
he's using
shouldn't.
he's using the game as his content for his subscribers,
Right, yeah.
and as such, he is bringing the game to his audience that he has cultivated.
Okay.
So it's a win-win.
He didn't he directly affect the sales of stuff like Skate 3,
Yes.
like coming back into into the space again and
But
stuff.
some companies were not okay with it. And
The Mario
most
company?
public example of this, on May 13th, 2013, which was, as of recording this, almost 6 years ago to the day,
Woof.
Nintendo began claiming revenue on any YouTube videos that had any videos of any content of a certain length. That certain length might have been specified, but I could not find any record.
Okay, that's
Donkey
ballsy.
has tons of Mario footage, so I'm.
Wait, you said this was 2013, so a couple years after Twitch launches, Nintendo really didn't have much going on at this point. I doubt many people were streaming like Wii U footage a lot. I don't know.
They had a couple.
But that wasn't even like meant to be a burn.
But still.
Had a couple things going on. Maybe not in 2013, but
Yeah.
you think about it, like every time there's a Smash tournament, they upload footage of every match. That counts.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my god,
I
there's
guess
so
that's true.
fucking much. Like,
I know.
I follow like one Smash channel, and there are like 600
Yeah.
videos posted
Yeah.
a day.
Well, it was funny because you were talking about our personal exposure to that stuff like before this, and what's funny is like the first time I saw, I don't know if they call them Let's Plays, but that was on like G4 because they would like they weren't framed the same way, but they like as they are these days, but they did show like walkthroughs and speed runs from time to time. I'm not sure when precisely that was. I know it was the right age for it, but I guess that footage was all cleared. You know what I mean? Like I assume.
So we'll get to that.
Okay. As opposed to just
now-
random people.
To a lot of people, this date, May 13th, 2013, kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But, and this is completely unsubstantiated, this is my personal opinion. I found a
I
record.
didn't know this. I think you're right.
I found record of
Yeah.
an article claiming, it was an article from Forbes saying that this was the first time that PewDiePie, being the first one ever, made over $1 million a year on YouTube streaming video games.
And he
or
officially
doing Let's
came out
Plays.
Wait, the
said that?
N-word racist Nazi guy?
This was before that.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I just had to get that in early.
You jump in the gun.
Don't worry, that will. Yeah.
Will come up.
To think
But
that
yeah,
fucker's a
I
millionaire
don't
boils
know.
my blood.
This could have been a completely random date, but to me,
That
that seems like a
huge
very
thing.
Japanese company thing to do, where just
Right.
like they're making that how much money off of our games?
Yeah.
We need a cut of that.
Was PewDiePie known for streaming stuff outside of PC at the time? Or
I don't know. I never watched his content.
I never did either. So that makes it.
He definitely streamed Nintendo stuff.
Oh,
because
did he? Okay, never
he had a
mind
lot to say when during
this
during
happened?
all of the stuff that we're about to
Alright,
talk about.
sure.
So he definitely streamed some Nintendo games.
Okay. For me, I was like, that guy screams at Amnesia, and then I was just like, this is
Yeah.
terrible.
Here is their Nintendo's official statement. As a part of our ongoing push to
Would it
ensure
be sick if he just started reading in Japanese and never translated it? Sorry.
Their official statement, just like perfectly.
Yeah.
as a
Sorry, translate this for us.
yeah, I'm it's in Japanese on my script. I'm translating it
Yeah,
live because I
it's
know
real time.
because I know Japanese. Yeah. As a part of our ongoing push to ensure Nintendo content is shared across social media channels in an appropriate and safe way, we
Safe.
became a YouTube partner, and as such, in February 13, we registered our copyright content in YouTube's database. For most fan videos, this will not result in any changes. However, for those videos featuring Nintendo-owned content, such as images or audios of a certain length, Adverts will now appear at the beginning, next to, or at the end of clips.
A length they won't say.
Yeah, we continually want our fans to enjoy sharing Nintendo content on YouTube, and that is why, unlike other entertainment companies, we have chosen not to block people using our intellectual property. Now, this statement is horseshit.
Yeah, are they comparing themselves directly to music there? Is that what they were getting at?
I guess.
Because wouldn't fan videos contain all those things?
Movies, probably.
Oh, movies as well.
Because movies are probably more divisive. Like, I feel like music on YouTube's just like, get the axe
that's true.
so quick. You know what I mean? Like,
all those B-movie videos gone.
Yeah.
But, like, has there ever been a record of a video game-related company doing this before? I know you said they were the most upfront about
There's
it.
other companies, but I think this was
I assume they're all Japanese.
I think this was the first, like, publisher to do it.
And they're the biggest one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nintendo. What do they make?
Steel Diver.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What?
I don't think I've thought about that.
I only thought of it because it comes up in the list of games.
Yeah. Can't stream
that you can't stream or let's play Steel
Shit.
Diver. Not that anybody would want to.
Steel Diver.
Now,
Steel Diver Let's Plays off the dock.
as nice as they tried to frame this statement, there's no real way to frame that nicely.
No,
it's like, we're going to let you use our shit, just we're going to get the money off of it. And it's like, what the statement doesn't say is that the ads that they're placing before the content they claim, that money's going to Nintendo. Because the statement doesn't directly say that, but that's the case.
Right.
When they place ads in there, they're taking the money.
Do they
you don't
need
get
permission
shit.
to do that? Or is like after a video's
Nope,
uploaded?
it just does it.
That really? Mm-hmm. Jeez.
Okay, but the ad money doesn't go to the streamer anyway, like, right? Isn't it subscribers, and then if you have it monetized, you get a certain amount of money per X amount of views?
Yes.
So, like, what's
And
it matter if the ad money
We'll get
goes
to the
Nintendo?
numbers of it in a little bit.
Also, Nintendo, by the way, I just figured I should say this. Their fan base plays a huge role in their success. Like, that is some of the most dedicated. Like, you think they would know.
Yeah.
Kind of. Even looking at something like Smash Brothers, like, it's at the scale that it is. Like, because of.
But why?
It's okay, they can make money off of the Nintendo televisions or the
sharp ones?
or the operating systems, that they make on the side.
Yeah.
Taxis.
Yeah.
Also, another thing the statement doesn't say, they take the place of any ads that the person put in front of their own video.
Wait,
So
really? They overrun those ads
yes.
with the. Wow.
So if you put ads on your video already, if you are if you are a Markiplier or a PewDiePie and you are popular enough to monetize your own videos, and Nintendo comes in and says you're using our content, their ads go in place of yours, and you don't get shit. They get the money.
I wonder, do you think the ads are for Nintendo games?
You don't both get the money yet. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Now, here's where the big
out.
discussion comes in, because me and Randy have talked about this in the past, and I want to get Chris's opinion on this. But to a certain extent, we have talked about this before. We have had friends in the past who me and Randy will recommend them a game, and they will not play it. They will watch people play it. And I don't think that for certain games, I don't think that's the right way to experience it.
Me neither.
Namely, we were talking, I think, about Life is Strange and Telltale games and stuff like that.
Until Dawn, it happened a lot.
Not Until Dawn. It's just like, those are games where your choices affect the narrative. So it's like, not playing it, you're missing out on basically half of the experience.
Yeah, if not the whole experience. In my opinion.
And
I watched someone play through Firewatch.
Yeah, and then you have games like, your shooters out there. It's just like, or like Fallout, Elder Scrolls are great examples where it's like, if I watch somebody play Elder Scrolls, it'd be boring as shit. But playing that game is fun.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that are just like, I watched somebody play it, and it's just like...
So are you asking me how I feel about that?
Yeah, I am full... let me just say, I am full on in support of Let's Plays. I am full on in support of people just posting their playthroughs in their entirety. But like, I do agree with companies when they see people watching Twitch and watching YouTube instead of actually playing their game. I think they have a right then to...
It feels
something
it feels
about
weird
it.
and subjective to say that it depends on the game. I mean, obviously
that is what I was going to say.
Yeah,
at
I mean,
first.
obviously,
I
like,
didn't think about what you just said.
Competitive games and speedruns are already out the window here, so it's just like watching a playthrough of a game.
You're watching a different kind of usage of it. Like
Yeah.
a speed run isn't you watching the game.
Especially
You're
if they're
watching
experiencing it the first time. Like, it's not somebody who's doing
Yeah.
the hardest thing as quick as possible, you know? Like,
I was at first gonna say it depends on the game. Like you use Firewatch as a great example. Like I don't
Yeah.
think that'd be a game that you would like watching would kind of be dumb. Like it's
well,
about the
totally, but
it's
people
about
have done
the,
that.
Yeah.
Like, there are channels out there where people have streamed, gone home and stuff like that, and you can watch it. And that's a weird. You're watching someone read notes. Like, I don't.
I'm very late. I don't think I've
Usually
watched a
mechanically
ton
driven
of Let's
games
Plays.
make more sense.
Period, to be honest. And
I
it's
haven't really
nothing I
either.
have against it. Like
No,
I'm
yeah.
not one of those fucking people. You know, the worst who are like, "Oh, you watch a video game? Why don't you play one, son?"
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you know,
Someone's out of
That's
touch.
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
Like
Yeah.
I get it.
But-
it's not for me.
but
I
here-
get it. If you recommend me a game, I'll read an article about it
Yeah.
long before I fucking
also
watch
understand.
gameplay.
I also understand watching a game to hang out with the people that are playing it.
Fair,
Yeah,
different thing.
like,
If you're into the
there's-
personalities, like Jason was talking about before we started, Oni plays. He's like, that's the only playthrough I've ever watched, and like
Yeah.
their personality, and like
Yes.
you know,
Yeah, we talk about Giant Bomb all the
it's
time. It's like they'll play
but
games together.
that's the
you know?
transformation that happens. Even people like PewDiePie, as much as I don't like him,
You understand why.
like
somebody
people
would.
like PewDiePie, they watch PewDiePie for PewDiePie. They don't watch PewDiePie because they're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I want to see this game. Because like
Yeah.
I said, he cuts down his air quotes funniest moments into a clip thing. You're not just watching the game being played.
But there are plenty of people that's like, oh, I watched him play through Dragon Age. I watched Markiplier play through Resident Evil 7. I don't need to buy it. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
"Arr."
you know, Let's Play, because of people that we've already mentioned on this podcast, kind of has a negative connotation to it. But
Yeah.
you know, like Giant Bomb does quick looks; those could be considered Let's Plays, and I
Right,
watch
yeah.
them every time I'm interested in a game.
Yeah, me too.
I watch them
can
play it.
influence
I
whether
watch
I buy
people like
something
kind
or
of
not.
funny play it. I watch,
Yeah.
you know, like IGN videos on it. I do my due diligence to make sure that I want to play the game before I spend my money on it. But I would never watch a game in its entirety.
There's also plenty of people who watch their favorite personalities, regardless of channel, play very random games that are not in the limelight. Like they're
Yeah.
not like it's not like a new release just came out and they're they're like it'll be like emulated stuff or mods and it's or like online focused games where playing it yourself is a different thing. Like you wouldn't play it yourself. You're watching it because you like them.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've watched plenty of videos like Giant Bomb put out where I would never buy the game they're playing, but
Yeah.
I watch it because I like Giant Bomb.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's the same
I
thing
understand
with-
I
completely.
had that kind of experience like that. I was gonna buy it anyway, but you know, I was watching videos of a game that was very. It's boring if you were to watch a video. Oh, I'm
But the
talking about
personalities
Stellaris.
are what
Like
make it.
I watched like a gameplay video of Stellaris, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, this looks fucking boring. I was like, I'm gonna love it. And then like playing, it's a totally different feeling than
Yeah.
watching like
So that's the thing.
like an RPG RTS kind of game. Like
So some of the arguments that companies put out, it's like, I don't think companies should be able to stop people from putting bad press out about their game. If you put out a video about somebody's game and people watch it and they're like, oh, this looks like trash, I'm not going to buy it. That's your fault. Make a better game.
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
But
I
if-
thought about
if-
that all the time. If you're familiar with the television show Top Gear,
Yes.
they get cars, they get
They're
reviews,
very brutally
and they
honest
are
about
very
it, yeah.
brutally honest. They poorly review
Companies
a lot
will
of
still
stuff, and
send
those
them the-
companies
yeah.
absolutely still do it. Like I always
Yeah.
thought about that. Like, okay, cool. Like if you're good at what you do, like
But that integrity also means the world because when they do recommend something, you know it's genuine. They're not
Exactly.
going to
Yes.
be. They're
Yeah.
not going to be a blind of just like because there are a lot of YouTubers like who just focus on very specific things and then they'll just like talk about it like it's hot shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like.
You have the, you
like
also
our
have,
friend when he worked at GameStop and tried to convince me that Brink was going to be good.
This has already come up before.
It has. I'm
I should
still
tell
mad
him
at
that
him.
I'm not going to bring this up anymore. And also not to.
is it a friend we know who listens to this?
Yeah, it is.
yeah. Yeah, you
Also,
I
not
know
to,
who it is.
not to, he'll be on here. He can defend it when he's on here. But not like to discredit. When I read over your thing, I was like, man, I'm gonna like. It's easy for me to like attack Let's Players, but there are good. There are plenty of people doing it right.
And there's also plenty of people doing it wrong because I also have sympathy for companies who will put out a game which is like genuinely not for everybody, but might
Sure.
have some bugs because making video games is hard.
Yeah.
And then because you have people who like, not to call people out in particular, but like the angry video game nerd or Angry Joe, whose whole person, or Zero
Yeah, to
Punctuation,
get pissed
whose
at-
whole
yeah.
personality is to get pissed for entertainment at stuff.
How is everybody
But then
not
people take their
moved on
opinions,
from that?
people take their opinions seriously, and they're like, "Man, thanks, man. I'm not going to play this game now because you said it was trash." And it's like, it's not trash. Their persona is getting angry,
You don't
and
like them
because
when
of
they're not
that, they're
angry.
taking sales away from a game that
Yeah.
might deserve it.
And I never thought about the fact that enough people could watch a game instead of playing it that it could actually adversely affect the sales.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think about that.
What's the percentage of people do you think watch Let's Plays to fall asleep to?
A lot.
Yeah.
Really? That's strange.
Really?
I don't
I've
know.
done it.
I think Oni Plays and Donkey are probably... Donkey's not even a Let's Player.
No,
he's
he's
just
not.
A person who-
He's just a content
He's like a
creator,
clip
but-
show
but that's part
content
of it.
creator.
But
like-
that's what
we'll-
makes this
we'll
format
get-
so like fun.
Yeah, he's
and-
kind of an anomaly, but like that's
Yeah.
pretty much all I've done. Like I'm not too familiar with that.
We can get to that a little later because
and some
the
of them are
funny
actually
thing is,
reviewers and some are.
yeah. So the funny thing is, so do you know what an MCN is by any chance?
No.
You guys don't dive deep enough into YouTube.
MCN.
Multi-channel network.
Multi-channel networks.
Oh, So
yeah.
wait, is that like Rooster Teeth? Is that what you're? Gotcha.
Like Machinima was a big
those
one.
Yeah.
fucks.
Machinima was a big one. So basically, like,
Machinima
Machinima
Red
was
Letter
big
Media
for
account?
early Let's Plays too.
Yeah.
Red Letter Media account?
no,
They have
No.
shows on their channel.
They do, but they're just one.
no. So multi-channel network.
I know.
They're
yeah.
too good for
So
that shit.
let me explain it to those listening that don't understand, and maybe those hosting that don't understand.
Oh, sorry.
A multi-channel network is
called us dumb.
when basically you will sign up, and this is important to explain because Randy knows I'm going to play a clip of somebody who has experience with this whole thing, explaining it, and he mentions MCNs and that, so I want to
I
explain
don't know
what
what the
they
clip
are.
is. I'm excited.
So an MCN is basically like they'll do the hard work for you in setting up a YouTube channel, and then they'll take a cut.
Oh,
So it's like they'll take 15%, but in doing so, when your channel gets copyright claimed, they'll deal with it for you.
Okay.
Things like that.
Right.
And they've gotten a lot of criticism because there's a lot of people that will set up MCNs and then do nothing and just take your money. And then it's like the kind of thing where they're like, we're giving you exposure. You're part of a bigger thing. And like, that's it. It's like taking advantage of artists essentially, but you know,
You're telling me Channel Awesome's corrupt?
yes. Absolutely. But yeah, they will come into play. But the interesting thing to bring them up now is that a lot of Let's Players, especially in these early days, early 2010s era, that were getting popular, people like PewDiePie and stuff, were like signed on with MCNs, and the MCNs had deals with publishers. So
Yeah.
people like Sony, Microsoft, Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA, Activision.
So they'll send stuff out to
They-
Jacksepticeye and Boogie and crap? Or
They'll be
they-
like, okay, Machinima, all of your people can play the latest Call
Oh,
of Duty.
right. Okay,
and we
yeah, I
won't
know
take
what
their
you're talking
videos down. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So they'll deal with that for you.
And they'll play stuff before it's out and everything.
So
too.
basically,
They still won't send Elder Scrolls to Kotaku.
what Nintendo is doing here, in their way, I can see it from their perspective, because what they're doing here is they're basically allowing individuals who are not part of MCNs to get the same treatment, where they're like, we'll let you stream our games, we're not going to take them down, we're just going to take some of the money. Right now it's all the money to them, but to people it's like, dude, however much percent of the no money we make on Google ads is like the difference between affording my rent or not. Like, you
Yeah.
can't do that.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, people like PewDiePie would be fine if Nintendo claimed all his videos because he's making plenty of money.
Plenty of
but
money
like,
elsewhere.
Yeah,
a
I mean,
person starting
yeah,
up.
fascism's on the rise in Europe, so he'll fit right in out there. He don't need a home or anything. They'll welcome him right in.
Yeah.
Here too, evidently.
But the effects were felt, I'll say. This angered YouTubers immensely.
I bet.
Some YouTubers just were like, it's not worth playing Nintendo
They'll
games.
just stop and
As much as I like playing Nintendo games and my viewers want to see Nintendo games, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to make any money off of it.
and I'm
there's
sure
other games out
Nintendo
there to play.
focused channels got
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, and then those people who were like GameNintendo.co.nz and they uploaded videos, they're fucked. All their ad revenue is now gone and going to Nintendo. And it's like these are like the people that Randy mentioned before, where it's just like these are Nintendo fans that have stuck by this company so much that
Yeah.
they've created a brand around how much they love
stuck
Nintendo, and
through the Wii
Nintendo is
era.
just bending them over
Yeah,
and fucking
Nintendo,
them.
they were just a couple years past
Yeah.
the failed Wii console.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't make any money off of that. They needed
Yeah.
the ad revenue.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like people just starting out, it's like I get what Nintendo's going for. They're like, it's our intellectual property. We deserve to make money
But
off
they're
it.
like reading the room.
But
wrong,
like,
yeah.
you're this dude is making $100 off of a video that gets somewhat popular because he played Smash, and you're gonna take. YouTube's going to take $30 of that, and you're going to take the other 70 from him because you made Smash Brothers? Like, how is that fair? It's not. $70 to Nintendo is fucking nothing. That's like they sell a 3DS, they make more than that.
Yeah.
And they sell hundreds and thousands of those a day.
Yeah.
Like, this kid needs that money to make his rent, and they're just like, nah, man, we made the game. It's our money.
I've played a 3DS all in my entire lifetime, probably total 10 hours. Somehow I've still bought 2. I'm not even joking.
I think I've bought every Nintendo console as well.
I've bought a DS new, and then I bought one off of somebody, so technically I didn't get that money.
Yeah.
This was a dick move. I was working at GameStop, and he came to trade it in, and it was $80 was the trade-in value. And I was like, all right, I'll buy it off you instead. He's like, how much? I was like, $81. And he was like, oh, it's fucked up. And I was like, what are you gonna do? You can sell it for 80.
Hey, 3DS still a good platform. Not as good as the DS, but still good.
All right. So, despite this went on. There's evidence out there that Nintendo kind of backed down a little bit,
Or at least they didn't enforce it.
They didn't enforce it as heavily towards the end, but that's because they were planning something bigger.
Oh.
So a year later, in May 2014,
Nintendo
Like a Disney, right?
right before E3 2014, Nintendo announced that it was bringing the program back, but with a twist.
This was when I think I first heard about it
Yes.
hitting the mainstream, for sure.
And here's Nintendo's statement this time, again translated from Japanese. No,
Yeah. Good job.
It's a funny joke, but this was all Nintendo of America's doing. I think that's important
really?
to point out. Yes.
Wow.
Now, whether or not Japan forced them to do this is another
a separate
story.
story?
But this
Okay.
was Nintendo of America releasing these statements.
If
and
it's
stuff like that.
if there's any consolation of how Japanese/American companies work, the Japanese arm is pulling the strings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo has been permitting the use of Nintendo copyrighted material in videos on YouTube under appropriate circumstances.
You're welcome.
Advertisements may accompany these videos, and in keeping with previous policy, that revenue is shared between YouTube and Nintendo. In addition, for those who wish to use the material more proactively, we are preparing an affiliate program in which a portion of the advertising profit is given back to the creator. Details about this affiliate program will be announced in the future.
A portion, eh?
A portion.
A portion.
We get 65%. You get 5. YouTube gets 30.
Sounds fair.
And again, this wasn't a good answer. For anybody that was mad before, they were just more mad now. They're like, you think giving us a fraction of the money back is like going to solve the problem? We want all the money. We're making the whole video, you jackass.
Instead of a social media check mark, it's just a Mario thumbs up.
We bought the game. We paid for it fair and square. This is fair use. Stop taking our money. That was the whole thing. A lot of people bringing up the fact that, like I said in PewDiePie's thing, it's like it's a mutually beneficial relationship, you know?
Yeah.
There's some things where people will watch a video and be like, oh, I don't have to play that game anymore because I saw all the story or it looks bad. But for the most part, it's free advertising, but it's uncontrolled advertising, which is Nintendo's problem with it.
And think about the other companies at the time who have used this in a successful way, indie or otherwise, like to extend the life of their game by years. If a creator likes it, fans will buy it. Like it is a win-win.
Yeah.
Like, especially if it's something competitive in nature, or or has to have a dedicated community to survive, like something around mods, or if it's even an online game that just needs a constant ecosystem, it's just strange to me.
I mean, most fighting games last as much as they do because of the fighting game community, which relies on posting. Also,
by the way, this hasn't come up yet, but Nintendo games, not narrative heavy, like. It's not like you're losing, like they're very based around how they feel and stuff mechanically. So like I can't imagine somebody watching like
Mario Odyssey for the story.
Yeah. And then just being like, well, I already saw how it ends.
Nintendo's the weirdest company to pull this shit for sure.
You tell me you didn't get emotionally impacted at that Mario line. Yoo-hoo!
I got emotionally impacted when they showed when they did the musical scene in New Donk. That was beautiful.
Same. At E3 that year, Nintendo announced the affiliate program. This would allow users who were already YouTube partners, which is the way that you are qualified to make money, Subscribe to Hot Button on YouTube, by the way, so I can change the goddamn URL.
Yeah, that shit is something else.
Thanks, Logan Paul. We'll get to that. This would allow users to register with YouTube if they were YouTube partners to register with Nintendo and claim some of their ad revenue back, as well as, and this is the
disclose.
This is the best part, as well as exclusive rights to show certain games, sometimes gaining early access.
Ooh.
None of which ever came to fruition. I can't find any evidence.
Who the
that's not
fuck would
Nintendo-
get early
Yeah.
access?
But Nintendo doesn't do like day one, like your day zero versions of games like
No.
other companies do, or not that I
And,
remember anyway.
Surprise, surprise. This did not make people any happier.
No. Now it just becomes more obvious that someone's hands are in someone's pockets.
So we jump forward from E3 2014 all the way to January 2015 when the program is officially launched and a website is posted where the rules officially come out.
Wait, a question real quick. Before this happened, could you find anybody that maybe did this and took them up on that offer, or just people had to? Any channels?
Are you talking about the creators program?
Well, yeah.
You had to.
You were really forced into
Everybody
this no
did
matter
it.
what. Okay.
Every time you've ever watched Giant Bomb play a Nintendo game,
Even for Quick Looks, they had to do that too.
This is
Quick
part of
Looks
that.
are essentially an ad. Like
they are.
like it's
but everybody,
Right,
dude,
okay.
because your options were to either
That
not
or
do
it's
this,
gone, yeah.
not do this, and Nintendo was going to take all your revenue, or if you register for this, they'll give you some of it back. Those were the options.
okay. So this went on for a couple of years then.
Yes.
Yeah. During the years that Nintendo didn't really have a lot going on.
I want to give a shout out to the Wayback Machine
Yeah.
because this is a little bit of a spoiler for the end of this episode, but let's just say Nintendo scrubbed all of this from the internet, and it was very hard to find the rules of this program. I had to go through the Wayback Machine and find the date that they updated the rules for this.
That's funny. But this, I very much remember though when this news came out.
Yes. And this is where shit really hits the fan because now the rules are all laid out and people are not happy about it. So rule number 1, you have 2 options. You can register a whole channel or individual videos. Whole channels get 70% of ad revenue.
Does the channel have to be Nintendo focused or just any?
No.
Okay.
But if you register your whole channel, you get 70%. If it's just one video at a time, you get 60%. But here's the kicker. In that rule, it says, in parentheses, rate subject to change at any time.
Well, that's horseshit.
So without warning, these numbers could just suddenly change. Again, couldn't find real evidence of that happening,
Right.
but
the writing's there.
The writing, they did their due diligence to make sure they could fuck people as much as they needed to.
Yeah.
Again, thanks to the Wayback Machine, I have a list of games
Yeah.
that are
I read through
supported
this.
from the program. You did? Okay.
I did today.
So,
I honestly feel like it would be easier to come up with a list of Nintendo published games that weren't support.
Yeah.
Like just because like you mentioned last night that like the F-Zero games are on there and Nintendo hasn't given a shit about that franchise for years.
No.
Like the first thing I looked for was Eternal Darkness and it was on there and I was
yes,
like, really?
It's
What?
everything Nintendo has like ever published.
Nah, dude, you can stream
with
Geist.
the exception,
I'm like, they might as well
Of-
just say anything under their banner, really. But
I don't think Super Smash Brothers was on here.
it wasn't because I think they had to make an exception
they
for.
made an exception for that.
But yeah, that's bananas.
But yeah, there's Wii U games like New Super Mario Brothers U and Mario 3D World.
They did retro
and,
stuff too. They went back and
it goes all the way back to the NES.
yeah, and there's stuff that wasn't even released in America. Like Sin
Yeah.
and Punishment is on there.
Yep.
Like on the N64.
You got fucking Dr. Mario, Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3, and the Lost Levels are all on here.
All the Zeldas. Yeah.
Excite Bike, fucking Ice Climbers.
Metroid, Krabby.
Anything you can think of that
Pokemon.
Nintendo published that's not a Smash Brothers game essentially is on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
was Steel Diver on there?
Steel Diver is on here.
Oh, right.
That's why.
Okay, that's how it came up.
That's how that came up because
Shit.
I was scrolling through this
Right,
list and I
sorry.
was like, oh yeah, Steel Diver was a game that happened. I forgot about that.
So did everyone else.
And yeah, here's the funny thing. The other thing was, so you have to submit your videos to Nintendo to be approved,
Yeah.
and somebody has to approve them. And the approval process is quoted as taking up to 3 business days.
So like all the time where the video would probably get.
So I am going to.
That's way too much time in that world, considering a lot of people play releases right around when they come out.
So here's the thing. You could submit the video to Nintendo before you published it. And you could wait those 3
really?
days out and then get it. But most people are like, it's got to get out there. The game just came out. I need, I need to get ahead of this so I'm
Or
not
how many
behind
people
everybody
didn't even
else.
know about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to we did our Giant Bomb episode. If you haven't listened to that, and go listen. But this is from Giant Bomb's E3. Former employee who's now at Waypoint, Patrick Klepek, was also on YouTube, and he did a thing called Mario Maker Mornings, where he played Super Mario Maker.
This is when he was actually just doing stuff on YouTube. This is like pre-Vice. Yeah.
And he was on Giant Bomb's E3 show, and he explains how the whole process works, and I figured I'd let him take it away from this clip from 2016 instead of explaining it myself, because he has actual experience with this. So.
Okay.
Here we go.
Two different stories I can tell you about the YouTube stuff. When you want to explain how Nintendo on YouTube works, I have a first-hand experience with this.
Yeah.
So, I've been lucky enough to do the Mario Maker morning stuff. Like, people watch that. It's been fun, like doing that with Dan and the level stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been a ton of fun. But when you break down how this stuff works, it is... So, let's start January to April. Made $1,250 over the course of those 4 months.
1,250.
Wow.
When you break that stuff down, so the way Nintendo does their thing is you have to submit these videos to their website, their Nintendo Creator Partner Program, and it takes 48 hours for it to submit. Mm-hmm. When do you think you get the most views on a video? This first 48 hours, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You don't retroactively get that money back.
Cool.
So in the first 48 hours, you submit that. 48 hours later, it gets approved. Then they're like, cool, we already made most of the money on that video. Now you can make... So Nintendo takes 40%, YouTube takes 30%, your MCN takes 15%. So then you start working that out over the course of like 4 or 5 months.
Oh, that's worse than I
So you get
remember.
5% of the no views that come after the
Yeah.
Fuck, that's some Spotify ass shit.
Yeah.
Like that's.
There's also Griffin McElroy in that.
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
clip as well.
yeah.
But
and
yeah,
those like we watched those videos. They had views. Like to
Yes.
think that he made $1,250 out of that. Like, oh fuck,
Yes.
that's real deterring.
but yeah, that was the whole thing. I didn't want to get in too deep into the numbers until we got to that, but I'm about to. But one more rule:
Oh sure.
you
Yes.
must disclose the following statement. I have a license to use Nintendo's content in this video through the Nintendo Creators Program. This video is not supported or endorsed by Nintendo, but any advertising revenue from this video will be shared with Nintendo.
Wow.
And this has to be in there either written or verbally. I don't know why anybody would read that out
Yeah,
loud.
I don't think followers would respond too well.
Yeah.
To that. It's just so deaf and out of touch with everything. Like
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
So, a couple problems with this.
couple.
A lot of problems with this,
Yeah.
but it's a couple big ones.
Yeah.
The 48 to 72 hour freeze thing
that's
is
bad.
a huge problem. And this wasn't Nintendo's on purpose, but they're like, well, we need time for people to review it. And it's like, well, dude, 2 days, like,
The retro-
like
yeah,
you
the
said,
fact that they
the
don't.
way YouTube works, you have to upload constantly, and
Yeah.
3 days is way too long. Like, you
Yeah.
get most of your views in the first, from your subscribers
The
anyway.
only
in the first-
advantage would be that everybody is on the same playing field.
Yeah.
So it's not like your competition's going to get ahead of you in like revenue,
Yeah.
but everybody still loses across the board.
No, but if
money-wise.
you have people who are like big channels who can just be like, whatever, I'll lose the revenue, and a new Nintendo game comes
They
out,
can afford it.
and you're a small channel, you can't be like, I can't wait until the 3 days are up. I have
Yeah.
to post this now because the game just came out, and this is when it's hot. And yeah, I have different quoted numbers. Like I said, YouTube takes 30 to 40% of ad revenue, depending on how many followers you have, subscribers, things like that.
Yeah. These are even small guys we're
Nintendo
talking about.
was taking the other 60 to 70 before. Their new plan now is that it still works the same as the old system before your video is approved.
Yeah.
So YouTube takes 30 to 40, Nintendo takes the other 60 to 70. After approval, YouTube still takes their 30 to 40%. And like Patrick said in the clip,
You get the scraps.
if you are part of an NCM
Yeah.
and MCN, they also take 15% ish, sometimes 20.
Yeah.
And
That's a
then
big
Nintendo takes 30 to 40% of what's left, depending on whether you registered your channel or the individual video, like I
Right,
said,
yeah.
and then you get what's left.
Certainly not only
And
not
you
enough
get-
to earn a living off of, but not enough to even like
Warrant making the video.
yeah, like you like you're it's ugh.
And again, this is, you get the rest of what's left after it is approved, because while it is in the approval process,
Yeah.
Nintendo takes all the revenue and doesn't retroactively give it back to you. And as far as I'm aware, they never made that change so that it would retroactively give you your money back. They just took it. Problem number 2, this system applies to any gameplay. It is not critical of how you are using their content. It's basically like, are you using our content? Yes or no. Okay, you are. There are now 2 options from this point.
So this basically means it doesn't matter if it's a walkthrough or a speed run or a comedy video or anything.
Yes, so Donkey not doing Let's Plays still counts.
Yeah.
Whenever he did
Jeez.
Nintendo stuff, he had to do it with the Nintendo Creators Program, I'm guessing, because it still had footage.
Even the video where he does the box, what's the fucking
Labo.
The Labo.
When he just throws the
This is
box
trash.
Yeah,
Sidebar,
probably.
my favorite thing of that video is when he opens the trash can to throw it away. That
There's a copy of Metal Gear
Metal
Survive
Gear
in there.
Survive is in the trash.
I think Mass Effect Andromeda is also in there.
Yeah, so here's another thing that they didn't really mention. Nintendo has to approve your video. And they have final say in how they approve your video. And if they don't approve of the way you're representing their game, they take all the money.
Oh, I'm angry now.
Yeah.
That's so, literally
Wait,
no
there's no
criticism
way they
whatsoever.
would. Yeah, there's no way they would not approve it if you said something bad, though, right?
That had to come out of Japan.
And here's the other thing.
Just had to.
You know what else uses a lot of game footage? Reviews.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this didn't just apply to Let's Plays. This didn't just apply to comedy videos or walkthroughs or playthroughs. It also applied to reviews.
Wait, did
Which
did
is-
that affect big review outlets
Yes.
as well?
Yep.
Jeez.
So it's a big
YouTube's players integrated into everything.
It's a big ethical problem where like Nintendo technically had if IGN gave or GameSpot or any of those big sites gave a Nintendo game a bad review and posted a video review, Nintendo was
Could go
making
after it.
was
Could
making
legally
money off
answer
of it and could also make all the money off of it if they thought that their review was going to hurt the sales of the game.
Holy shit.
Yes. This is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this stuck around.
Yes.
Conflict of interest.
And I could sit here and I could list off quotes from YouTubers for days because there's a lot of them and a lot of them were very angry.
Yeah.
But just know you can go do that research yourself if you want to watch Boogie2988 or PewDiePie or somebody complain about it. I tried to watch them. I don't like those people. Sorry. If
Yeah,
you
and then
do.
you'll get recommended a bunch of like
Yeah.
white supremacy videos.
Also, did you know about the shit? I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
I missed a joke. I missed an opportunity earlier. I had a really good one.
You can hear them talk about why they're angry about this program and then why the earth is flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the least bothersome thing they're complaining about. Let me tell you. Yeah, you can hear them talk about why women don't deserve any rights because they're not getting laid. Despite the anger, program stayed after the Wii U failed off and the Switch came through and the 3DS was doing great and the Switch started doing great. Games like Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
All
Well, that's what I was
these
gonna say.
games-
Now there's like this hot new Nintendo product out there that people not only like they want it, they want to play it, they want to show it off and cover in their videos. Stuff like Breath of the Wild and Odyssey lend themselves real well to like those kind
Yeah,
of like
especially all this like the custom
a
levels.
lot of potential
and Odyssey.
content. Yeah.
Well, like specifically, like
People
Breath of the
streaming.
Wild is like a game about discovery, and people were posting clips of that,
That
like
game
crazy.
seems like it was almost had that in mind.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And Odyssey was just like, yo, check out the shit that I can do with Mario. And they like do these crazy
the post-game
combos.
stuff. It's like impossible. Yeah.
Nintendo
like-
made money off all that.
Yeah.
Is this still around, real quick?
This program?
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
I was gonna say we should start doing Nintendo games, but then like animating the gameplay instead, like to be like crudely
So,
drawn
I bet
fire.
people have done
fun,
that.
Fun fact. I
they're gonna
know,
say we should
I know
only
our
stream
friend
stuff.
Andrew is probably listening to this.
Oh, is this the-
And
the-
he would probably kill me if I didn't mention
Would be
this.
remiss.
Giant Bomb did a thing once where they were allowed to show I think it was Killzone 2.
yeah.
Killzone 2, but they were only allowed to show 5 minutes of footage, but they recorded like an hour. So they just showed the coolest pieces of footage, and then the rest of it, one of the guys who was editing it just did poorly animated what was
was in
happening in
MS
MS
Paint.
Paint.
Yeah.
And it was just them talking over.
So you'd see this like HD footage in first-person shooter, and then they'd come to a door, and then they'd animate this crappy MS painting of them opening a door because they didn't want to waste
That's
the time
amazing.
on that.
That's what I'm
It's
just
really
talking about.
brilliant.
It's great.
It's still up there. I thought you were gonna say we should stream all of the, or we should make Let's Plays of all the games not on their list, or just find the crappiest Nintendo games that they like forgot, like Wii Music and stuff.
Or we get
Here's my playthrough of,
Or we could play like something in the foreground and then have a television in the background playing Mario games. but like it's high quality enough to where you can zoom in.
Yeah.
They probably come after that still.
Yeah.
Like, that's like what Aqua Teen Hunger Force is in Adult Swim with the movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you were talking
yeah.
about that the other day. Yeah, that's so fucking good. Oh god.
people were very angry. People continued to post very angry videos about it.
Yeah.
But despite all this, it was, the way YouTube works, Nintendo was allowed to do whatever the fuck they wanted. And what they wanted was to get their fucking money. So this program stayed. And this program stayed relatively the same. Again, none of the rules were really changed other than like a game came out, they added it to the list of games that they wanted money from you for streaming or let's playing.
Of course.
That is until 2017 when two major events in YouTube history happened that actually affected this program. Now, these aren't directly related.
Is this the
to
thing
Nintendo.
you refer to as the adpocalypse?
Yes. Not just me. Everybody refers to it as the adpocalypse.
Okay.
Basically, YouTube noticed that advertisers were getting skittish and starting to back out. And they realized it was because a lot of the stuff that had become popular on YouTube was a lot of stuff that the adults who were making YouTube videos wanted to make. But the problem is that a good majority of the YouTube audience were kids. And the advertisements for kids needed to be family friendly.
So Nintendo didn't have that in place yet, or
No, so what? This is not talking about Nintendo. This is just
Okay, sorry.
this is just YouTube.
because I didn't know, like they like I didn't know if this applied to their like teen and M rated games about cursing and
No,
shit.
this
like
is
that.
when Nintendo has nothing to do with this. This is a YouTube policy. The YouTube
Okay.
started basically demonetizing videos. If you posted anything that wasn't deemed advertiser friendly, they would just make
Okay,
it so
I
that
do remember this.
that video wouldn't make any money.
and that kind of became
Unless you're in the
subjective.
face of the platform. In that case, you can say the N
Yes.
word, wear a Nazi uniform.
So there are a
And
lot of
do whatever
this
you
is
want.
this is a very funny time because there were a lot of experiments being done. Like there was one, I don't remember I don't have the exact example written down, but there was one guy who made a sketch and it got demonetized. And then whether or not it was stolen or just a coincidence, the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon did a very, very similar sketch. Like a week later, that didn't get demonetized, and it had the exact
course.
same content because that's
Yeah.
NBC. That's the Tonight Show with Jimmy
you
Fallon.
Yeah,
Also-
I remember that.
Yeah, like I'm sure kids and parents make up for the majority of that cash and audience, not just Nintendo, but just YouTube in
Fucking A, I
general.
watch my little nephew watch YouTube like it's his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, this applies to our story in that people whose job it was to play games for a living on YouTube, they had an out. And that out was Nintendo. If you're going to get demonetized for showing violence or cursing or anything like that,
Yeah.
you can't play most video games.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can play Nintendo games because they don't have a whole ton of violence or
I guess,
cursing.
yeah.
Not unless you pay him first.
Yeah, so now your choice was to play Call of Duty and just get completely demonetized, or play Smash Brothers, play Odyssey, and then have Nintendo take 30% of your money or whatever.
Basically, start applying to fucking Target, bro, because you're out.
Yeah. And this did affect the platform, YouTube itself. Like, a lot of people backed out of it. A lot of people were like, I can't do this at my job. This is when Patreon really hit it big.
Yeah.
Because people
Oh,
are like,
right,
we need
yeah.
Patreon to make money because,
I didn't even think about that.
yeah. We'll get to that in a little bit, but we're going to cut to another story, the second big event in YouTube history. Our old pal PewDiePie, we've talked about him. He thought that it was a good idea to say a certain word that begins with the letter N on a Twitch stream.
Was this the first time or the?
This was the first time he said that word that begins with an N. He did say Nazi a whole bunch. But yeah, he, said the N word on a stream.
Yeah.
And then again, no correlation, not directly mentioned, but I'm going to
But
use
it
my
seems.
detective skills to say that when Nintendo sees that news and then a week later makes it so that the Nintendo Creators Program no longer applies to streaming content, I'm going to say that's not a coincidence.
No. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a little on the nose.
So, yeah, you are no longer allowed to monetize streaming Nintendo games at all.
But what about all those channels that want to talk both about weeb games and preserving the white race?
Oh,
What do they do?
I don't know.
Go find a new platform.
Yeah, you create alt-right tube, and then you know.
Yeah.
You go in there and talk about the Jewish question all day. I don't know.
Dude, I just got an idea. We start.
No.
No, listen.
Okay.
We start an alt-right YouTube, okay?
Yeah.
You'll program it.
Yeah. I'm sure that's easy. Yeah.
It's gotta be. Didn't they have their own language that they made YouTube on?
Yeah. HTML.
I thought it was Python. I was gonna say it because never mind. That was a correlation of the "Don't Tread on Me" snake. That's a long wraparound. I'll just say the punchline. Okay. But anyway, we create an alt-right YouTube, okay, and then we're like, guys, tired of getting deplatformed by all these liberals? Yeah, come to us. That's their plan. They're trying to deplatform you because if you don't have a voice, you can't get out there. We get them all up. We archive all their stuff, and then we just tank the whole website.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say we invite them to like a special
Yeah,
like,
we were talking
YouTube
to our
convention
version of VidCon and
Yeah.
then just firebomb the
Yeah,
place.
then just burn it
All right,
down.
I like that one too. Yeah.
Just leave them on an island somewhere.
So anyway, that's a joke, obviously.
Yeah.
So come to alt-right tube.
Launching in
It needs a better
2020.
name. Red Pill
No,
Tube.
that's all right. I like where your head's at, but yeah.
Oh,
Ben Tube. And Ben Shapiro could be like one of our like biggest guys. He can be our PewDiePie. Wait, no, PewDiePie could be our PewDiePie.
No shortage of mascots here.
I was trying to think of a film pun for "Don't Tread on Me," but I can't think of one.
It'll come to us.
Yeah. If I think of one, I'll yell it out in the middle of talking. It's fine.
All right. See when lightning's just a creativity strikes.
But yeah, Nintendo had to change their policy because nobody could stream games anymore because apparently it's a stupid business move to trust that people won't say racial slurs while live streaming video games in the year 2017, let alone 2019.
Yeah.
Or sexually assault their fucking fans.
Yeah.
Not while we're talking about YouTube. God damn it.
Yeah.
I hate the world. Back to the story.
What about showing a dead body? Can you do that?
Speaking of hating the world and everybody in YouTube, one more update. Again, uncorrelated, but a week after something else happened. YouTube this time changed their policies again. To be monetized, you now need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched hours a year.
Huh.
Which completely fucked YouTube because that was when everybody was like, well, our videos now, in order to be monetized, have to be 20 fucking minutes long.
I never really knew where this was born out of.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Huh.
Because it used to be your videos had to be 10 minutes long.
Yeah. I looked up a video the other day of how to change the headlight bulb in my car, and it was like 28 minutes for a procedure that takes not even 90 seconds.
Yeah. But this was also about a week after, I think, Logan Paul decided to go to Japan and show a dead body
corpse,
on in his video. Of course, they changed their policy after that.
How
but
has
he
nobody
didn't-
seen him cross the
he
street
didn't
and
get
then
in-
like
He didn't get in
decide
trouble.
not to use brakes?
He didn't get in trouble. They just changed their policy for all the people that are trying to replace him.
Like his
And
little
again,
brother.
to relate this back to the Nintendo Partner Program, you need to be a YouTube partner to be a Nintendo creator. So you now have to meet these requirements in order to be a part of the Nintendo Creator Program. But this isn't really Nintendo's doing, and it's like if you have under 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours a year, you just don't make money off YouTube. So Nintendo has nothing to take from you.
Right.
We come to your house and take your
Can't rob
T-shirt.
us anymore.
Yeah. The less money that people made through videos on YouTube, the more they complained. And this wasn't just a Nintendo problem now.
Yeah.
After the adpocalypse, it's just like people just shitting on YouTube in general, and Nintendo was just piling on.
I remember seeing a lot of articles and videos about content creators that got screwed after seeing these changes, after they like already signed leases on new places or moved or like made investments into their company and whatnot. And like, yeah.
This is
Which
why
is a difficult thing to bring up technically, since I know that the YouTube platform does not necessarily belong to any of them.
I know.
This
This is a
wanna
whole
defend
discussion on
yeah.
itself. Like, you can...
Yeah.
It's like you joke about making alt-right tube, but like nobody's going to be able to make a competitor to YouTube.
No,
Nobody has
not in
Google's
our lifetime.
Nobody has Google's resources, so you just have to put.
And
If you want to be on YouTube, you have to
we're
put up with
confident,
this.
I think, in the stuff that we watch on YouTube that like it's not whether or not it could I don't know. I mean, it's like I think they could exist off of that platform depending on the fan base, but it's hard.
The way I look at it is that when this happened, YouTube went from being the television industry to the music industry, where it's like YouTube is essentially like Warner Brothers Records or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to be on YouTube and make money, similarly to how if you want to put out an album, you're not going to make money off that album at all because of the way Spotify works and the way iTunes works and just the way that music is now. You got to go on tour and you got to sell T-shirts and you got to sell.
Yeah, thanks to Justin Timberlake and his free music program.
Yeah.
Ruined all that.
Yeah.
Lars was right.
But yeah, so like that's why every YouTuber has merch now and advertises it in
Yep.
every video.
It's the only way.
And that's why they all have Patreons that they advertise. It's like you have to trust that a lot of
I do
YouTubers
like
out there
that
don't
tries to balance it
want
out.
to annoy you every time at the end of every
I know.
video. They don't
It's-
want to,
they
but
don't want to, but they
have
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it sucks.
it does.
And this was
Creative
also
people should get
I
paid.
used to not use ad blocker because I wanted people to make money off ads, and when this happened, I just blocked YouTube for ad blocker and then started subscribing to Patreons and buying shirts from people and stuff
Same.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because fuck YouTube.
Yeah.
The less money people made from YouTube, the more they complained. And so that's going to lead us to our final change to the Nintendo Creators Program to answer Chris's question from earlier.
Right.
On November 28th, 2018, a week or so, or maybe a little bit more than a week, I think it might have been 2 weeks, before Smash Ultimate came out. It was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Nintendo finally announced that they were shutting down the Nintendo Creators Program.
We're sunset.
And they were switching over to a set of guidelines. Those guidelines state you may monetize your videos and channels using the monetization methods separately specified by Nintendo. Other forms of monetization of our intellectual property for commercial purposes are not permitted.
What does that mean? Like directly selling anything?
Because we about to make a
think
bunch of
you
money
can-
off of Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I was gonna say
so
either way.
we
This
don't
was
need
smart.
ad revenue.
This was smart timing on their
Yeah.
part.
Until the Switch U comes out and it's a failure, and then we reactivate the Players Program.
Other forms of monetization, I think they might mean like you can't put a Nintendo thing in a movie and
Okay.
put it out, I guess.
About Corridor Digital. They're always using Nintendo stuff.
Are they?
Yeah, it's like blue shells. There's a whole video where they're like
Oh, yeah.
go-karting around.
Yeah.
How much money do they make though?
I don't care. They make up. That takes a lot of work
Yes, it does.
to use After Effects.
Yeah.
We encourage you to create videos that include your creative input and commentary. Videos and images that contain mere copies of a Nintendo game content without creative input or commentary are not permitted. You may, however, post gameplay videos and screenshots using Nintendo's system features such as the capture button on Nintendo Switch
That's right, it
without
has a
additional
capture
input
button,
or
yeah.
commentary. So they're saying like...
Doesn't it
So
just
wait,
get directly
so-
uploaded to your trash can, though, when you click it?
So wait, without the personality part, they mean?
No.
So is this just for game sites?
This
and
is
not
fair
like-
use. This is
Okay.
exactly
Oh,
fair
all right,
use.
then it's just
Don't
that's all.
upload just straight up footage. Put something into it.
Yeah.
Make it your own.
Stick to your Mega 64 sketches.
Also, the screenshots are just boring pictures when somebody goes to hit when they're using
When
it
you-
sideways
when they hit it by
and they
accident.
accidentally hit it because I looked at the screenshots on my Switch once and it's just like pictures of the Smash Select screen or whatever.
Yeah, because you're like passing controllers around
Yeah,
and someone
yeah.
like, the most useless button. Get rid of it on every controller. I hate it on the PlayStation. I hate it on the Xbox. Just get rid of it.
What?
There isn't one on the Xbox.
There isn't one on the Xbox. They do have the problem.
They have the
where-
option, but they obfuscated it.
Thank you.
Thankfully.
Yeah. But no, the PlayStation one is that share button is the worst because
Yeah.
it'll take like 15 seconds, so you'll hit it by accident. You're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm in the middle of it, and then like it'll pop up and be like, you want to show this clip of you being an idiot?
The worst is
It's like no.
little side note. Been using Photoshop a lot recently to make those banging thumbnails that you all see on our website, hotbugcast.com. But there's a Photoshop shortcut. Photoshop has so many shortcuts.
Yeah.
Like any combination of buttons you can press in Photoshop will do something. So if you fuck one up, you can fuck your whole picture up. Little
Oh, God.
little lesson for you guys. But Also, the fucking NVIDIA GeForce experience has the same shortcut as one of the most important Photoshop shortcuts I need, and I had to learn how to disable it because
Oh
it
my
kept
God.
popping up.
I can't accept fucking invites in Rainbow Six because the fucking Uplay shortcut is the same as a Windows, or no, it's Logitech for my keyboard. Yeah. So like, it's like, because it's, oh god, like, fucking note to anybody. I guess
No, it's
like,
because you have one of those keyboards that's like, you want to lower the brightness of your screen, or you have to hit Shift Function F2.
Yeah, so I hit Shift. No, it opens like a Chrome or whatever.
Right, yeah.
So I'll hit the accept the invite button, and it'll just minimize
drops your
it and
game
open
and
up a
everything.
Chrome thing, and I can't turn it off. I've tried everything.
Back to
Sorry.
Nintendo. Point number 3: you are only permitted to use
They should
Nintendo game content that has been officially released, or from promotional materials officially released by Nintendo, such as trailers or directs.
Yeah, fuck off, mods.
So
No Project M streaming.
I was about to mention Project M. Yeah,
specifically, yeah.
I thought about that earlier. I forgot to write it down.
If you want to use the intellectual property of a third party, you are responsible for obtaining any necessary third party permissions.
Yeah, go ahead and contact Capcom. Yourself,
Yeah, you are not permitted to imply or state that your videos are affiliated or sponsored by Nintendo. So now, instead of having to say, "Hey, I'm sponsored by Nintendo," now you can't say it, or you're in trouble, or they will take your money. We reserve the right to remove any content that we believe is unlawful, infringing, inappropriate, or not in line with these guidelines.
Well, sure, that's anything.
Yeah.
All right, man.
So I said that was announced in November 20th, 2018. March 20th, I believe, 2019.
I
didn't
know
write it
how
down.
recent this.
The program officially came to a close.
Got the axe.
Cool.
And then they
So-
apparently tried to do their best of scrubbing the fact that it ever
Yeah,
existed.
and then they deleted it. They firebombed every bit of information from it off the internet, and I had to dig to find all of these rules.
Doing fucking this
I was-
podcast about video game stuff is impossible.
I know.
What is it? Like, movies are so public. Everything else, like, it's easier to find information on serial killers.
Yeah.
Like to look up true crime stories. About actual
Especially
people,
anything
the
legal or
protection
weirdly
around games.
related like this, like because I told you like I read that there was a big article when I was researching for the Sega thing about how they got their offices raided because they were accused of price fixing.
That's amazing.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I found like one snippet left.
Yeah.
They like fucking
Yeah.
burned down the
Yeah.
internet.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
Oh, yeah.
even easier back then to
Yeah.
fucking do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Like,
Like
before the
I know I
internet.
complain a lot about having to read court documents, but at least those are public.
Yeah, at least you can access them. I end up doing the one that we're doing next week. I am like stuck reading old forums where I'm hoping somebody snapped a screenshot of something and put it to Imgur and the link's not dead. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah. And so that is the close of our story. I'm going to bring up one more example, which
I mentioned. Yeah, we were
is
talking
very
about this the other
relevant.
night.
The Nintendo is not the only Japanese company to do something like this. I think this is a very Japanese business. What's the word I'm looking for?
practice.
God damn it. It's a very Japanese
It's late,
business
it's all right.
practice. So when Persona 5 came out,
Yeah.
Atlas
This was insane.
came out and said, like, you can't stream the game.
And the game was out.
And the game was out.
Yeah.
And people were like,
Like a
fuck you, I can stream the game all I want.
And then they came out and they're like, you could only stream up to this day
Yeah.
or something in the game.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they claimed that it was because they
Didn't want spoilers.
did want spoilers, when in reality, they didn't want people watching the game. They
I
wanted
do
people
remember
playing it.
people in games press were just like, no. Like, there's no legal
Yeah.
leg you have to stand on. Like,
Yeah.
so, like,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, they
like-
didn't want people watching it. They wanted people
and
playing it.
that was just people
That's a
complaining.
game that would suffer from people watching
agree.
it versus
Yeah, no,
like playing
totally.
it.
Yeah, but still, people were like, no, fuck you. And then they didn't have a legal leg to stand on it. And that was kind of the end of it. Atlas was just like, we'll shut you down. And they're like, all right, I'm still going to stream it. You can try to shut me down. I think they got to like one or two people, and then it was too much.
Yeah.
It's still a rule.
Oh,
To
really?
this day, you can't stream
What the
Persona
hell does
5.
that rule mean?
And I found a Reddit thread where some guy was like, Persona 5 might come out, like get re-released or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
Can I
on
still
Switch or
can I
something.
stream it when it comes out? And people are like, here's a link saying you can. And then the guy's like, I streamed Persona 5 like a week ago and nothing happened. And they're like, okay.
Can't stream Final Fantasy VII now that the remake trailer came out.
This is also like
Is that
Spoilers.
for real?
No,
Oh.
I'm just making that up.
this is also like
I wish somebody would stream fucking Endgame so I can watch it already.
did you see, like, there's a story that I remember from some Giant Bomb thing, and I can't remember what it is to credit it properly, but they were talking about how back in the day, companies would send them pre-release copies
Yeah.
of games,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
had a lot of trouble with Japan.
Yeah.
Because Japan thought that the internet was a new scary thing, and they were afraid that these
Well,
professionals.
they weren't that wrong.
Well, they would talk to magazines, not to like websites.
Yeah,
like they would send
yeah,
stuff out
like
to
like
magazines.
Game
but-
Informer or whatever, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
"We're not gonna send you the game because you're gonna upload it to like Napster." And they're like, "What?"
yeah.
It's been shut down for 10 years. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And that's the end of our story.
It is, yeah.
Again, I want to shout out to the Wayback,
The old
Machine,
Wayback Machine.
for helping me out. Kotaku.
Yeah.
A lot of people shit on Kotaku because they post articles constantly.
But it is.
But they're the best for
They
this
are.
type of research because
You can see stories and updates to
because they
stories.
update
and clip-
stories
yeah.
so often just to
Oh,
get
yeah,
more
yeah.
clicks.
It's come
but
up in probably
it
most
helps a
of
lot.
our- yeah.
So shout out to Kotaku. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's do some plugs.
Yeah. Also, you continue watching Let's Players, I guess, but just play Red Dead 2. You don't need to watch someone play all the way through. Just play it.
And hey, if you
That
watch
game sucked.
if you watch a game,
You're such a liar.
if you don't have money and you watch a game, if you watch someone else play a
Yeah,
game and you
the
have
price to entry for games
Yeah.
is high.
All right,
And
if
you
you don't have money to play games, don't buy coffee every day.
Oh, so
Don't
you're gonna
eat
rip this
lunch.
USA Today
Don't.
Work, you fucking drones.
What
Yeah.
was it? The
no,
Citizen,
no unnecessary expenses like
Citizen-
haircuts or grooming.
the Citizen Bank thing. Or was it the Citizen Bank?
It was USA Today.
that was USA
But we
Today.
found out that it was an ad for an insurance company or something.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah.
No, we'll go on. I'll find what I'm talking about.
Okay. But if you watch somebody play a game and you enjoy yourself and you don't have the money, maybe wait for a Steam sale and pick it up when it's $5.
Sure.
Just kick
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy some kind of money. That company, that person.
The
some
cases
kind
are
of
so
money.
particular, it feels
Yeah.
hypocritical of me to tell people one thing or otherwise. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. And
If they're anti-Semites or whatever, then you buy
Yeah,
it on.
don't support them.
You buy it on CD keys like Randy did, and they get your CD key revoked like you
Oh.
did with Hatred.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that I support that.
because they didn't make any money off it.
Yeah, exactly. Not making my money.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for listening
Yeah.
to the podcast. If you haven't subscribed already, you can subscribe on iTunes. You can subscribe on Spotify. You can subscribe on Google Play. Leave us a like on those things,
Subscribe
reviews on
really
those
helps us
things. Yeah, it really helps me out. We have a website, Hot Button Cast. You can keep going to that to get all the latest and greatest news. See my thumbnails that I work very hard on. You can follow us
so
on.
good.
You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Hot Button Cast.
Look for our Nintendo Creators Club page.
Check out our live episode, which is now live on YouTube if you haven't already.
Yeah, this
so
is-
good.
Yeah.
There's an audio version of it too, but the video version of it is very good.
I don't know how many Nintendo games came out. There were some.
I don't know, a couple.
Yeah, they're not as big on the collector's editions.
But yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah,
And we're out.
good.
Good night.